What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets Central podcast. CJeths put his fake smile on because none of us want to talk about this team. Um, if you guys saw my last post-game reaction, I was pissed. That's an understatement of how I was. I was very pissed. I claimed the season to be over. We're going to talk about if the season is over. We're going to give our first half player grades, and we'll talk about whatever else we want, probably Winnipeg or something else, but we'll figure it out.
Rails.
Yeah, it always does, but we'll talk about all of it. Before we jump into it, leave a like on the stream if you do enjoy, subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live on the channel. But we'll probably start with the player grades. I think that's where we should go. So let's just jump into it. Let's not even mess around. First player, everyone's favorite relief pitcher for the Mets, Jeff Brigham. What is your grade for Jeff Brigham?
Who?
This bullpen is brutal. And he's one of the worst. I have him at a D.
A D? CJeths?
I think a D is being too generous. This guy wouldn't get D from the horniest person alive.
That might have been generous for sure.
Yeah, I gave it D
no,
minus.
it's really not that bad. I think D is fair because honestly, well, actually, I don't know.
I gave it D minus.
I'm not gonna do a deep dive into Jeff Brigham. I'm sorry.
He didn't get an F because he warms up to all the small things. That's why he didn't get an F.
That's why he doesn't get the F. Fair enough.
Because all the small things. So yeah, he gets a D. Because of small things.
It's funny.
No, but in all seriousness, I give him a D minus. There were times early on in the season where he wasn't unusable. He was at least somewhat of a reliable arm at times. So he hasn't been a complete disaster. That's the only reason. But I mean, there's no way around the fact that he has just not been good enough, especially when the bullpen needed guys to step up with Edwin Diaz being injured, which is also what went to account with my gradings personally, which we'll get into one relief pitcher who I rated very harshly. But do you guys have anything else to say about Jeff Brigham? Because I don't know if we should spend much time on him.
Only one thing I'll say is that for all pitchers that have pitched at least 25 innings, surprisingly, Brigham has the fourth highest strikeouts per 9 innings, and he's got the lowest WHIP. Second lowest WHIP, just behind David Robertson. His WHIP is 1.045.
That makes me want to look at the FanGraph numbers again because we didn't do that in a while. Wasn't David Robertson like the only pitcher with a FIP below 3?
No, his FIP is 3.59, and he's one of two within a 3. And Brooks Raley's the only other one with a.
Wait, Jeff Brigham's FIP is, or Robertson's FIP is a 5.
Robertson's
or 3.
FIP is a 3.59.
Okay, I thought you said Brigham. I was gonna say I have it up right now. His is a 5.51.
Yeah, and Brooks Raley's at a 3.98, which actually is surprising. I thought his was gonna be a lot higher.
Yeah, we'll get into those two later. But Jeff Brigham, I don't think we have to touch much on.
No.
We'll move on to Carlos Carrasco, everyone's favorite, the inspiration to this channel launching.
Oh gosh,
seriously.
I gave him a little bit nicer of a grade than I should have. I also gave him a D minus. No, this isn't because of a warm-up song this time. I gave him a D minus though because of the fact that he has been pitching at least a bit better lately. He has that new slider grip that he's been using. It's made him more effective, and he gave a couple good starts recently. That's the only reason I'm not giving him an F. If this was 2-3 weeks ago, he probably would get an F.
Yeah. I am a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, too. I gave him a D because he has had a couple of better starts lately, but still just not near good enough. Those first inning collapses of the cookie crumbling happen yet and yet again for this team, or for him personally, I should say, and it's just disappointing. I mean, he's just a pitcher that is declining at a very fast rate here, and obviously not what he once was.
Yeah, I gave him a Z. He just
Bam.
The second highest FIP on the Mets, only behind butt boy Jose Buto, with a 5.95 FIP. I swear to God, I'd rather get a full body massage from Edward Scissorhands than watch Carlos Carrasco pitch again.
Oh my God.
He is so bad. He is so bad.
Damn.
And he's making more money than I will ever see in my life. So I'm
That's
kind
true.
of jealous.
I shouldn't have been as nice with the money that he's making, considering they could have had Zach Eflin or
Yeah.
I forgot the other pitcher that
Literally
we talked
anybody.
probably Nathan Eovaldi or whatever. I forgot the other pitcher that we talked about, but they could have had a couple other pitchers for the same price. But yeah, I give him the benefit of the doubt a bit just because of a recent stretch of being at least a better pitcher.
Yeah, like a good number 28 in the rotation.
Just to throw it away in the trash his next start too.
I do want to see what his numbers have been the past few starts, actually, if I could look that up, because I don't think he's been as bad as you're making it out to be the past few starts.
Yeah. Like, he's gotten better as of late, but it's almost like too little too late. Like, if your FIP, even after a couple good starts, is still 595, there is just a whole nother conversation has to be had. Like, how the hell are you making tens of millions of dollars?
Hey, his ERA in July is a 0 right now. 8 innings
Oh, look at that.
pitched.
It's actually pretty good.
In his
Really
last
good.
last 7 starts, he has a 4.04 ERA with a 1.43 WHIP. So
Improvements.
but it's still not the greatest. We won't touch on this next guy too much because there's not much really to talk about. I threw John Curtis on here because this was a guy that I thought was going to crack the bullpen, considering Diaz was out. I thought he was going to be a good arm for the pen, but he gets a fat F. He's awful. He's not even on the big league roster right now.
Yeah, I did not anticipate John Curtis' name coming out here today, so I'm gonna agree and say that.
Yeah, I didn't even rate him. I didn't even rate a pitcher because he had.
That's fair.
I only did pitchers 20 innings pitched or more, so I didn't even rate him.
Yeah.
That's fair. We'll move on to the next guy, Dominic Leone, who I'm tired of seeing personally. But what do you guys give him?
Where did I have Leone? Where did I even? Did I forget Leone? No, I gave Leone a D because of his strikeouts per 9 innings being at 9.5, which is the 5th highest.
Yeah, I gave him a D.
Nice.
That's another guy I gave the benefit of the doubt just because of the fact that he's been used so much to the point where he's probably cooked from it. He wasn't really awful when they first acquired him, but lately he has just been horrendous. And I think it goes in hand with the fact that the Mets bullpen has been taxed so much. So I give him a D also. Niko.
Oh, you didn't hear me before. I said a D minus. I mean, he's just been brutal on the time he's been with the Mets. So obviously, he didn't start as bad as you said, but just another bullpen piece that is not doing it when we need help, and it's just been a disaster.
Quite literally a guy off the streets. They signed him after opening day because nobody wanted him.
Like this is gonna be the Mets roster that is picked on the most in like 20 years when we do the random Mets stream. We're just be pulling guys from just this team.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
Will.
Because this team is just absurd. This might even be more absurd than the 2017 Mets, and that team was just ridiculous. But we'll move on to everyone's favorite starter, who I had high hopes for as well, Tyler Miguel. I gave him an F. He has been an F in all aspects. He has not been good, especially in the absence of Jose Quintana. They need him to step up, and he just hasn't. Anybody gonna give their grade?
Tyler Miguel. Tyler Miguel, I gave a D plus. I had high hopes for him too, but obviously I had shoulder surgery. Really killed him. Velocity went down big time with him, and he just did not look the same at all after. And we thought he could have been, in our future plans for the starting rotation, but that's not going to be the case for sure now.
I agree. F minus.
F minus.
Awful.
There was a time. Remember where I think it was even like a month ago. It might have been less than a month ago. Tyler McGill led the Mets in innings pitched at one point. Like that was just. He led it for way too long. That was just
that's one way of putting it.
That was a problem.
I
It's
had no idea.
ridiculous. It made no sense.
Where is he now on that list? I'm gonna
Third.
Still not any
71.1.
better.
No,
Third.
it's not even close. He still sucks.
Wow. That's wait, who's ahead of him? Senga and Scherzer, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, and Verlander's 1.1 inning behind him.
All right. Well, now he's gonna get injured.
Yep.
Oh.
Moving on to Frank the Tank's favorite pitcher, Adam out the lead go Ottavino.
Oh.
What do you guys
How's
give
the
him?
lead go?
Who wants to start?
I gave him a C plus.
Ooh. Generous.
With him, he's been generous for sure. We needed him to step up. We really thought he'd be the man, but he's let up a lot of walks. He's just not looked like what he was last year after giving him the extension. Just disappointed in him. I think a C plus was very generous. You're right. So I'm interested to hear your grade because I kind of regret that now.
Nick, do you want to give yours or do you want me to go first?
I gave him a flat C. Flat C.
You gave him a C. You both were generous with that one.
I like his underlyings are not awful. Like his hits per 9 at a 6.4 is the second lowest in the Mets minimum 20 innings pitched.
But when you look at some of the other numbers, this is why I give him a D plus because of the fact that yes, his ERA is at a 3.72, but his FIP is at a 4.79, which is brutal. His WAR is in the negatives. He has just not been the same that he was last year, like Niko said, and especially when the bullpen really need him to step up and be the potentially 1A, 1B with Robertson as the closer. He has just been anything but that. He's probably been one of the worst pitchers in the bullpen, and I don't know if that's again having to do with the fact that it's taxed so much the bullpen, but he's not even relied upon anymore in like big situations. He's just been awful. And then when he is relied upon in big situations, he just does awful, especially that one game. I forgot who it was against, but Buck decided to put Robertson in against the bottom of the order and then Ottavino against the top of the order, which made zero sense.
No
but
sense.
This is the Mets, so what do we expect? Moving on to another guy who everyone had high hopes for after his rookie season, David Peterson. What grade does he get?
David Peterson, oh my goodness.
Nick is so miserable.
I'm just
This is brutal.
it's so sad.
I gave Peterson a D plus.
Generous.
I try not to be so harsh, but geez,
dude,
Peterson,
fuck him. Be hard on him.
He was so. Just go all out,
dude. He's awful.
Say about this man.
He's so bad.
He really is.
F minus.
The only thing is, he's been better. He's been a little better lately. He was brutal at the start.
Oh,
He's
dude.
turned it around a little bit to boost up the grade. The year I went down a lot more, but the first like 2 months of the season, I think it was like up until mid-June, he was just tragic.
F minus. 11.1 hits per 9 innings. Oh god.
I give him
awful.
an F. He clearly is suffering from Steven Matt's disease. There's no way around it. He had a good rookie insanity run, but after that, with spoon sanity. My bad.
Spoon sanity.
Sanity's anything.
Yeah, that's spoon sanity run.
Pete's sanity.
Pete's sanity. He had a Pete sanity run. You know what? His FIP isn't as bad as his ERA. It's actually surprisingly decent as FIP, but he just has been brutal. Again, I think he got Steven Matt's disease. There's no way around it. He gets an F for me, even though he has had a couple good starts recently. I need to see more. For the first half, I give him an F. Now the next two will probably be a little more positive. Brooks Raley.
No, there you go. That's it. All right. There you go. I'll go first. C.
I give him a B.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brooks Raley, I gave a B as well.
That's fair.
He's-
Maybe I was being
he's
a little
done a
bit rude
solid
on that
job
one.
for
He,
the Mets.
he could have gotten a
Yeah.
higher rating for me. I think I'm just being hard on everybody. But
You gave
yeah,
him the same rating as Ottavino, didn't you?
yeah. I don't know
Damn.
why.
Oh, that's not right.
That can't add
Fine,
up.
Brooks Raley, C plus. No, I think C plus B minus is fair for Brooks Raley. He's actually having a really solid season for a guy that's old enough to be all of our parents. I'm okay with Brooks Raley. He's probably been the most, aside from D-Rob, the most reliable bullpen option, the most consistent. Hold on, reliable is a bad word. Consistent bullpen option.
Yeah, he's another one though where his FIP is just a little too high. That's what is holding me back from giving him an A. If his
Yeah.
FIP was like down in the threes, I probably would give him a or B plus, but his
Yeah.
FIP is at a 3.98, so
Which is the second lowest among solo relievers, amazingly. Only behind David Robertson.
yeah. It's not that great. But I guess I could have given him a higher grade because he's not he's one of the least bad. He's one of
Right.
the least bad. Not good, but one of the least bad.
Yeah.
The
But-
best of the worst.
Speaking of David
Least
Robertson,
bad.
what would you guys give David Robertson? To me, I gave him an A, considering he's filling in the shoes for Edwin Diaz. He's
Yep.
done a good job. Hasn't been lights out, and I still can't believe somebody, I forgot who on the radio, said that he was doing better than Edwin Diaz. That was just absurd, but yeah, I give him an A. He's still been good, and no one was going to beat Diaz, and he's doing a good enough job being at least close to what Diaz would give.
It's fair. A
Yeah,
minus.
I gave him an A still. Close to an A plus, but I don't think anyone on this team deserves an A plus.
No.
He, as you said, is filling the shoes of Diaz really good. Has came big with a lot of saves. As of recent, he's let up a couple home runs in late games, but nothing that cost the team too bad. So he's just been reliable out of the pen this year, and I can't say that about anyone else.
This is the one I was most excited for. Max Scherzer. And why do we want to send him to Winnipeg?
Mad
Send him
Max.
over there already, man. Because this guy can't pitch a big game for his life if it depended on it.
Yeah,
It'd be
he needs the Chinese
Gave him a
dictionary
D
to be
plus.
opened up.
Yep.
I gave him a D. He needs the dictionary open up. He needs to brush up on his Chinese because, like you said, he can't pitch a big game at all. He $40 million for what?
It's
$40 million for what? A 4.31 ERA and a 4.54 WHIP.
yeah, like a number 3 pitcher.
disgrace.
Number 3 is generous.
The only thing
Taiwan
he's got
Walker was
going
putting up
for
better
him.
numbers.
It
The only
is.
thing he's got going for him is his strikeouts per 9 is high, and his walks per 9 is the second. I'm sorry, I think the lowest on the entire team. No,
That's not
only
saying
Dominic,
much.
only Leone. Yeah, it's not really saying much. I'm not happy with Scherzer. I think him and Trevor Bauer are gonna have a sick 1-2 punch next season
Oh, that's the
overseas.
Kobe and Shaq and
Oh,
the
dude,
base
they're gonna be
stars right there.
they're gonna
Oh
be
my God.
sick together, and I can't wait for that collab
Might
to
have to
drop.
fly out and watch that, man.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be nasty. But Scherzer, I gave a D plus. I don't think he's quite at a D. He's definitely not at a C level. I'm thinking D plus only because his strikeouts per 9 is still high and his walks per 9 are still pretty low. But the FIP of 454 as a $43 million pitcher. Ugh.
the hard contact he allows too just
Oh my
doesn't
God.
help either. Like every freaking start with this guy. Every
I
start.
don't understand it. I don't know. I mean, I get he's getting older, but Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, this guy just fell the F off.
Yeah, I don't know what happened because last year he was so good, and
Mm-hmm.
this year he has just been a nightmare. And I love the Nationals fans that get mad that we boo him. What are we supposed to be cheering him off the mound
Right.
after allowing 7 runs against the Atlanta
Right,
Braves? Like, yeah, you tried out there. You
You
tried out
tried.
there.
It's Little League.
Yeah,
Good job out
buddy.
there, Max. Good job.
Go get yourself an orange on the sidelines. You did
Yeah,
great.
go to the ice cream truck. It's waiting outside for you.
Ice
Go-
cream
It's-
after the game on me.
Yeah, it's on
Right.
it's on all of us. Yeah, with this fucking $40 million.
Yeah, seriously.
Next, a little more of a positive one again. Kodai Senga,
Whoop whoop. A+.
A+.
Fucking huge
Okay.
Senga guy. 11.3
Whoa.
strikeouts per 9. I think he's top 5 in the league right now. And he's an all-star. He's probably been he's been the only Mets pitcher that you can count on to have a quality start pretty much every time he goes out there.
That's fair. Niko, what'd you give him?
I went with an A-.
Fair.
I think, I mean, he started off kind of mid, but as of lately, he's really been picking it up, striking out batters like nothing out there, making the All-Star team for a season. He's been, definitely easily the Mets starting pitcher.
He gets his walks under control. Like, I swear, if he gets his walks under control, he's probably a top 20 pitcher in the league. But his walks per 9 is 4.7. It's absolutely brutal. But I'm telling you, man.
In a world where
this kid could be elite.
And on a team that has Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, this is the ace. The only reason he does not get an A+ for me, and the only reason is because he cannot pitch on regular rest yet. That's the only reason. That's a good point.
That's fair. That's fair.
Otherwise, he would have gotten A+ because he has been everything as advertised, if not more.
I think
and he
better.
Has been. I agree.
Think better.
I agree. We expected him to put up like number 3, 4 level starter numbers. He's been putting up 2-star numbers, and I definitely would give him an A. Once he could pitch on regular rest, he gets an A+ easily.
This guy's in a new country, or new surroundings, new team, new language, new everything, and performing as well as he is. I am very happy with Kodai Senga's season, and to be an all-star in his first season in the MLB, I think that's crazy impressive.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
Definitely is.
And now we got back-to-back brutal ones. Drew Smith.
Oh, Drew.
And this is the guy I was referring to earlier when I said I gave a harsh grading. I gave him a D+ because this is a guy that we really needed to step up in the absence of Edwin Diaz to potentially be a 7th, 8th inning guy. He cannot do that for you. He can't. He's awful, and I'm tired of hearing that the Mets fleeced the Rays in the Lucas Duda trade because they got Drew Smith. Shut up. He's not all of that. He's not him. He's an ideal animal shelter. He's got no dog in him. So that's what he is. What did you guys give Drew Smith?
C-.
Niko?
Oh, shoot, my bad.
We're good.
I gave him a D.
A D?
I gave him a D personally. Just not what we wanted to see from him this year. This dude with his hanging slider, I can't anymore. He's hanging sliders over the plate, going 450 out of the ballpark. Doesn't utilize his high velocity fastballs enough as advertised. And he's again a lot with the walks, so he's just been brutal all over the place.
Yeah, and then he also got suspended too. Next, we got Justin Upton Verlander.
Upton Verlander.
What are we giving?
I gave him a C.
Yeah,
right in the middle.
You guys are generous. You guys are too kind. You guys are kind people.
See, I don't think the C's that bad. His ERA is only at a 3.6 and his FIP's at a 4. We expect 30 times better than this, but considering where the rest of the team's at, he's somehow been consistently not terrible, but also not good. He's just been mid.
D+. He won the Cy Young last year, has not been anything close to that. Was supposed to be the Jacob deGrom replacement, has not been anything close to that, outside of the fact that he's only going 5 innings, but those 5 innings aren't even great when he does go 5 innings, and that's my biggest gripe with them is the fact that most starts, there's times he only lets up a run or 2, but he's only going 5 innings. You need your ace to be going 7 innings consistently, at the very least 6, and to get 5 innings from him is just not enough for me.
I agree. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Moving on to Francisco Alvarez.
Woo!
Mm.
Who wants to start?
Shut up.
All right, Niko, you start.
I'll-
And he's having connection issues. He must be in Winnipeg like me.
I gave him an A. He's been.
Yep.
I think it's good now.
Oh, okay. Yes. Jeez. I gave him an A. I think he's been just out of his mind. Easily the best rookie for the Mets.
Mhm.
His home run numbers are off the charts. His defense is a lot better than advertised. It wasn't obviously supposed to be all that good, and I think he's been great behind the dish. And he's just the average might not be too high, but he's hitting home runs. He's coming up clutch in a lot of big spots, so I'm very impressed with him.
I am super high on Alvarez. I'm giving him an A+. He's first
Wow.
among catchers in home runs. He's third amongst catchers in OPS. And oh god, he's just been he's been better than what I think anybody expected him to do this season, considering he did not do great in his debut last year. He's been excellent defensively, excellent offensively. He's coming up clutch. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of on Alvarez right now is his on-base percentage is really low at a 295.
That's what I was going to touch on, yeah.
It's really low. It's going to get better. I mean, he's still a literal. I think he's younger than me still. He's still so young. I'm not worried about it now. But despite the low on base percentage, his OPS is still at an 809 with a 514 slugging. I'm not worried about Alvarez at all. I think he's only going to get better. And I think considering how bad the Mets offense is now and how much of a catalyst he's been in his, considering he's played 227 plate appearances, which is 9th on the Mets, I think. It might even be lower than that. I just think it's 9th. I am so beyond impressed with him and so happy with where he's at. I am slamming him with an A+ right now.
That's fair. I gave him an A because he hit a very big slump in June. And I really wonder what his numbers would be if he didn't have that gigantic slump in June. Even if he was half as good as he's been recently, he would probably be hitting like 260 right now. And maybe the on-base percentage would be a bit up because maybe he wasn't as patient at the plate during June, and that contributed to it being knocked down low. That's one thing I'd like to see. And you guys talked about the defense. The defense has been fine, but there has also been at the same time way too many times where there's been pop-ups behind the plate that he is just he just hasn't caught. He hasn't caught. The throws behind the plate have been a lot better than what we saw in the first a couple weeks, because the first couple weeks, some of those throws were brutal and he was sailing them into the outfield. But lately he's been a lot better with that. So I give him an A. And like you guys said, he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better. And it's hard to believe that the Mets signed the next guy we're going to talk about knowing that they had this guy in the wings. But let's talk about Omar Narvaez because
F-.
Yeah, fair.
He sucks. he's batting 184.
I want a D-.
I
He
gave
tricked us
him
at
a-
the beginning big time.
Yeah, I gave him a D- because of the beginning of the season. He tricked us.
Oh, what a bunch of holy hearts
knew
you
he
guys
was that,
are.
but my word, he stinks.
You sickos. 451 OPS. Jesus Christ. He's
Okay, yeah.
awful.
James
He
McCann.
sucks.
James McCann disease.
God, forget James McCann disease. This guy doesn't hold a candle to James McCann. This guy sucks. And he's making $8.5 million to suck. We said it from the start. He sucked. Why would we spend $9 million on a guy who sucks? Because we're the Mets and we like old people that suck. That's all he does. He just sucks. He doesn't do anything good.
No,
I'll
tell you why they signed him.
Because he
I'll tell you why.
sucks.
Well, aside from that, what do the Mets love more than any? But besides sucking, what do they love?
Shitty backup catchers that are so overpaid, it's beyond being funny.
Aside from that, what did we learn last year that they love? They love to platoon.
Oh my god.
They wanted a lefty catcher bat, and they anticipated Tomas Nido being the righty, Omar Narvaez being the lefty. That's all it is.
Set yourself up for failure.
That's all it is.
Show.
And that's how you end up
So
with Darren
bad.
Ruff, and that's how you end up with Daniel Vogelback, and that's how you end up with Omar Narvaez.
There like was never a silver line with Omar Narvaez. He never had a good season at all in his career. I just don't understand what the obsession was. Like, oh yeah, this guy can't hit. Oh yeah, let's make him our backup catcher and platoon him. He's like, do we have an analytics department? Because I personally don't believe we do.
No.
Do we have a department? All right.
No
do we even have a fucking department?
No
on this
computers.
team? We don't have shit. It seems like. I just don't understand how this guy is making fucking Sidney Crosby money, and he is one of the worst players in the MLB. It just, I don't understand. I should have just
Sidney
fucking played
Crosby's a
baseball.
sore subject right now. You could have picked any other player, man.
Yeah, I know. I just like seriously, I should have just played baseball and sucked long enough to where when I turned 30 years old, the Mets would overpay me. That's all I should have done. No, but I went to college. I graduated. What a fucking idiot I am. I could have just ripped off the Mets like every other mid baseball player in the world. I got guys I play softball with that are better than fucking Omar Narvaez, and some of them have grandkids.
I'm sure they could pluck a couple players from the Guangdong Tigers to perform better too.
Dude, seriously, I'm just, oh my god, it's so bad. Like I'm sure Paul LaDuca today. All right, it could be a better backup catcher option than Omar Narvaez. I am. As a matter of fact, I would venture to say that right now, if you gave Paul LaDuca the same amount of games, at bats, and all that shit that Narvaez has right now, Paul LaDuca would outperform him.
Bring back Wilson Ramos. Another catcher we overpaid the suck.
Bring back fucking anybody at this point.
No. Don't wish McCann back. Don't wish McCann back.
At this point, I would buy a McCann jersey.
No,
dude. Narvaez I think he's that bad. Wow. The guy's got 7 hits.
I wouldn't go that low.
The guy's got 7. He's got 61 plate appearances and 7 hits. He's the fucking. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. When I was growing up, if I had 61 plate appearances and put the ball in play and got to first base 7 times, my coach would have wrung my fucking neck. I would have been sitting in the bleachers with the fucking moms and dads. Like, what are we doing here? He sucks. Dude, it's just so bad. I just don't understand it. Like the fact that like we have to. I'm gonna go on a rant. I literally cannot help myself. Like this guy is making money that people would kill for, and he's one of the worst players in the league. Like now I got to make sure he's actually making $8.5 million. Omar Narvaez salary. I'm gonna fucking puke when I see it too.
Might be making more.
He's making $8 million. All right, he's still at $8 million. So, okay, he's making over $1 million a fucking hit. What are we doing here? I cannot be in the minority thinking this. He's got 7 hits. He's making $8 million. It's over $1 million to put a fucking ball in play. The thing he gets paid to do. I don't know. I'm just gonna sit here and drink my lemon perfect and fucking wish I made $8 million to suck at baseball. What a joke.
Moving on.
We all do. You're not alone.
Pete Alonso. This is a tricky one, isn't it?
I'm going last. I have a lot to say on Pete that I'm going to try to summarize in my head.
I guess I'll go first unless you do, Niko.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was a bit more generous than I should be probably, but I gave him a C+.
Oh wow, I was gonna say that's kind of low.
That's what I gave him.
I have not.
I thought you were gonna go like a B.
When do we call this guy Mr. April? When do we call him Mr. April?
Mr. April.
Thanks,
oh my god.
Thanks, asshole. You're the Alex Rodriguez of the New York Mets. Thanks, asshole. When are we going to start calling him that? Because he has not done anything besides, he's been chasing the league lead for home runs. I don't give a rat's ass when he's Chris Paul out there hitting those home runs to cut the lead down to 42. I don't give a rat's ass about him hitting a home run to cut the lead down to 7-1 against the Miami Marlins. I don't care. And
DP Alonso.
I'm CP Alonso, yeah. I don't care that he's chasing the league lead for home runs. He's cooled off significantly. He hasn't been good enough even defensively at first base. And he is just I don't want to hear shit. I'm gonna go on a rant myself now. I don't want to hear shit about a captain on this team ever again. I fucking don't. I don't want to hear Pete Alonso. I don't want to hear Francisco Lindor. Don't want to hear Brandon Nimmo. Don't want to hear any of that bullshit. Don't want to hear anything about a captain. There is no captain. There's none. It's just like the Rangers. It's all talk and actions speak louder than words, and none of these guys put it together on the field enough. And Pete Alonso is no exception to that. And for a guy that's supposedly the superstar of the team, I don't care how many home runs you're hitting. You need to be hitting more than 210 is what he's saying. At least hit 230. I'm asking you to hit 230, and you're the superstar of the team. Aaron Judge puts up the same amount of home runs and still finds a way to hit like 270, 280. So sometimes even more. There's no excuse. Pete Alonso gets a C+.
You just converted me, dude. I was giving him a B. I'm going down to C+ after that.
Niko,
Yep.
you gave him a C+.
Plus
All right.
well. I had a C+. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Just April Merchant. I know, obviously, he had the injury, but that's no excuse. He came back and it's just pure and utter shit. And just another thing off topic. Did you guys see when he was talking about him talking about Ohtani, what his pitch would be for him at the All-Star game? That pissed me off. That was the worst pitch I've ever seen in my life.
No, I didn't see that. I missed that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not watch the All-Star game. I was nauseous.
You notice how he couldn't even say, yeah, you could come to the Mets because we win baseball games. The only thing he was really able to sell was the fact that was the fan base.
Yeah.
Like, good on you hyping up the fan base.
Didn't say a thing about the team.
But you couldn't say one good thing about the team itself. Shohei Ohtani is not coming to the Mets. We're going to talk about that after the player grades. I wanted to get into that either way. Let's wrap this up. We have a few more. Brett Beatty. What does he got?
B-.
Okay.
Ooh. What'd you give him?
B-. Quick and easy B-. Not great, but considering how. Go ahead.
I gave him a C actually. So I was a little hard.
I did too.
The only thing holding me back a little bit on Brett Beatty, and I say holding me back as I gave him the highest grade, is his OPS is really, really low. But I'm considering how bad the team is, and that being a young guy, that he's kind of coming out and playing better than most of the starters. I helped him out and gave him a B, just because I'm okay with him. And another thing too, like, it almost feels like that, Buck doesn't like playing the young guys. Considering how well he's done with an, in quotes, limited role and limited faith, I'm happy with him.
That's fair. He's just way too streaky for me to give him anything above that. And I think in hand, it goes with Buck not playing him enough, because for whatever reason, Buck is pretty much Gerard Gallant, who just is hands off and just likes to only prioritize the veterans. So just like Gallant. So yeah, Brett Beatty is no exception to that, but I still give him a C because I'd like to see more. But just like Vientos, if you're not going to play him every day, send him down to AAA, please.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very streaky, as you said. Look, I think he'll be really good. Don't get me wrong on that, but he's just not there yet. He's been making some good contact. He gets unlucky at times, but we just need to see more consistency, and that'll come in the future.
All right. I'm going to start off the next one because I'm going to get into a rant again.
I think I know who it is. Oh,
who is it?
I'm between two.
Who is it?
Marte or Lindor?
You would be incorrect on both.
Mark can hit.
Wow. Everyone's favorite Gold Glove player, Luis Guillorme. I would love to know what this guy does besides have a cool beard, look like Buzz Lightyear, and throw the ball to the crowd in a cool way. Somebody tell me what he does besides that.
I did not even rate him.
I'm so sick of he's great at defense thing. His defensive war is in the negatives. Shut up. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't hit. He swings a string of spaghetti at the fucking plate. What does he even do? Can somebody pull up that meme? What does he even do?
Literally nothing.
With the DJ Khaled thumbnail? Because what does he even do? What does... I'm sorry. Somebody tell me what this guy does for the team that makes them a better team. And the fact that he's been getting consistent reps for the past 3-4 seasons? Why? For what? Especially last year when the team had 101 wins. How? He's worse than Libor. No, okay, he's not worse than Libor Hayek. That was a bit far. No, he is the Libor Hayek. He just never goes away. He just doesn't. But at least the Rangers admitted the mistake with Hayek, and they finally sent them down after all these years, and they realized, hey, we got a nice young player in Braden Schneider, and we got some young players that we have to call up and play, Keandre Miller too. And Hayek lost his spot. Luis Guillorme is still taking up reps from guys like Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos because of his spectacular defense, Gold Glove defense. Oh, they should make a utility Gold Glove and Guillorme should win it. Shut up.
I hate to burst your bubble, but you forget the fact that if we ever do get blown out, there's no one else I'd want on the mountain more than Luis Guillorme. So you better watch yourself.
Fine. He gets an F instead of an F minus. Fine. Fine.
Yeah, I didn't even rate him, dude. He's
just a cool walk-up song, sure.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Niko, what grade did you give him?
I went to the D+ on Guillorme. Probably generous.
Definitely generous. He does nothing. He does nothing.
Nope.
Outside of looking like Buzz Lightyear and having a cool beard, like I said. But now we'll go to Francisco Lindor.
This is a tough one, man.
This is a tough one. I
think I was a bit generous. People might think otherwise. People might say I was too harsh.
What's the grade you gave him?
I want a B.
No, no, too harsh. He has to get an A+, man. No, best shortstop. No. I gave him a lower grade than you, so I gave him a C.
B-?
I gave him a C because he is just not.
Okay.
He's just not consistent enough, and there are times where he doesn't even play great defense, which is what he's advertised as, and again, just the streaky bat is just infuriating. And this is our supposed superstar of the team, and he is the highest paid player in terms of money over the course of a contract for any Met player, and he just doesn't live up to that contract. I'm sorry. I know that people like to break down that or try to break down that he's one of the best shortstops in the game, but I still think there are better shortstops out there than him. But that's just me.
I gave him a C+. I gave him a C+, only because despite his batting average still being down, and when I say down, he's back up to a 239, considering he was at near damn below 200. Something to be okay with. His 798 OPS is not great, but it's actually not bad. The 19 home runs is good, but the 60 RBIs, I just tried to look it up quick because I couldn't remember off the top of my head. But his batting average with runners in scoring position is actually quite high. I forget what it was. I saw it the other day, and now I can't freaking find it because I'm shitty at looking up stats. But I'm happy he's doing well with runners on base. But we also need him to get on base more consistently, and not just be just so inconsistent. Like he's making $34 million a year or something like that. Like we got him to be the best shortstop in the MLB, and I don't think he's maybe top 5 right now, maybe.
Yep, agree.
Yeah.
This is going to get this one is unfortunate, but Jeff McNeil. D minus. D minus. I understand if you want to give him lower. I'm not gonna.
Minus.
I won't get on anyone for giving him a lower grade, to be honest, because you go from winning the batting title to this, and
Yeah.
the shift is gone. You should be hitting better if anything, but at the same time, maybe because there's teams not shifting on him, he can't pull the ball as easily into the gap. But I don't know. I've been very unimpressed, and the only headline about Jeff McNeil is that stupid car that the reporters keep asking about for some reason, and that's really about it with Jeff McNeil. Other than that, the reports would be about how much of a baby he is with the temper tantrums he throws after every single time he gets out, and that's another thing that I'm just tired of. It's one thing to get. I don't get on athletes for that. I think it's good when they show emotion, but to do it every time you get out, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
I'm sick of it at this point too. I'll go. I gave him a D plus. He's just numbers down everywhere, as you said. Just so disappointing from going from winning the NL batting title, to this. After that extension we gave him, and granted, we thought it was a great deal, and it looks like shit now. So I'm just really mad with McNeil. His defense sure has been good this year, but he's not doing it at all at the plate. He looks lost and just no confidence when he goes up there to the day. The guy's never hitting a home run with how much he chokes up on that bat. He's been pissing me off a lot this year.
Yeah, his versatility was like one of his only saving graces with that, with getting a D minus instead of an F for me. That was about it.
He got a D plus from me as well. Same thing. Just unimpressed.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll round it out with the outfields, and then we also have one other player. But Mark Canha, I gave him a C. He's been the definition of mid.
I gave. Reeks of mid.
Yeah.
I went a C minus for Canha.
C. Just not moved.
Yeah, he's putting up the numbers you'd expect, maybe a little below what you'd like from him, but because I still personally would like a bit more power from Mark Canha, especially because I think he was hitting more home runs in Oakland, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, he still hasn't been the worst, and he's not playing every day, so I can't get on him too much for the numbers he's putting up. So yeah, he's been mid.
He draws a lot of walks. Like his on base percentage is solid, but
which is pretty much the reason they got him. Yeah.
Right. And he quite literally doesn't do anything else.
Moneyball.
Yeah.
Next we'll move on to the guy. I have a question for everyone. How many fucks does this next guy give?
Oh.
Mr. Starry Marte, how many fucks does Marte give?
0.
A big fat 0 fucks he gives.
I gave him a D plus. That might have been generous.
D plus.
I know. I gave him a D plus.
I am a D plus too. A D plus. Like this song is so true, man. Could this guy give any less fucks? Like there needs to be a middle ground between what Jeff McNeil does and what Marte does. That's one thing.
He's another player that's suffering from a former Met disease too. He's suffering from Yoenis Cespedes disease, where he just is old and doesn't give a fuck anymore because he on routine fly balls, he's just not even trying out there. He's just not. Against the Padres in particular is what I'm referencing, where it was a routine fly ball and he just doesn't even make an effort to catch it. I just don't understand. And the lack of IQ in the field too has just been non-existent from him. And then forget it at the plate. The guy is a strikeout machine, and if he's not striking out, he's grounding into double plays.
I agree. He got a D from me.
That's fair. Yeah. Next, Brandon Nimmo. What do you guys give Nimmo?
B.
I give him a B plus.
I gave Nimmo a B plus as well.
I couldn't justify going any higher.
Yeah. His defense hasn't been as
That's
good as it
fair.
was last year. It's been good, but not as good as it was last year. But at the plate, he's probably been the most consistent outside of maybe the next guy, and the best offensive player, maybe outside the next guy also on this team, at least for a guy that's playing every day. So, yeah, I mean, it's still not even good enough. Still not even good enough. His OPS is what, like at 800?
807.
Yeah, which isn't bad at all. What's his average at?
Yeah.
266.
280. Oh wow, not that much.
Not as bad. You could tell he's trying to hit for more power too a bit at times, and that's also why his
We don't
numbers.
even need that, dude. We just need to get on. Like, we have no one that can get on fucking base. Like, and Nimmo's such a good player, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. And you root for the guy. Everyone likes the guy, but dude, just fucking stop striking out and just get on base, please. Just put the ball in play and play your game. I'm a little disappointed for as fast and as good as a runner as Nimmo can be. He's only stolen 3 bases on 4 attempts. Like, he's not really attempting very many steals, and I don't know why. Like, even don't give a fuck, Starling Marte has swiped 23 bags. Yeah, 23 bags. I mean, Tommy Pham has 10 stolen bases. Like, why?
That's always been my issue with Nimmo in the leadoff spot, is that he's fine with his on-base percentage and everything, but the guy does not steal bases at all. Like, you need your leadoff guy to be stealing bases, and I think that the Mets seriously need to look
be a threat to do so.
100%, yeah, and I think the Mets seriously need to look into bringing in a new leadoff hitter somehow. If they're not going to go the route of a rebuild, which we know they're not, but if they were to go, if they weren't to go that route, they need to find a new leadoff hitter, and they need to move him second in the order or maybe fifth, somewhere in that range. But yeah, I think a B+ is fine. But for the last two, we'll go to the guy that's probably been the biggest surprise for at least the first half. We owe him an apology for sure. Tommy Fantasy Football Boy Pham. We definitely owe him an apology for the first half.
100%.
I gave him an A.
Big apology.
I gave him an A.
A. No A+ is on the team. A.
Mhm.
He's been everything just outperformed so many expectations. We thought this guy'd be a utility guy at most. He's been a lot of almost an everyday player at this point, and he's hitting the ball hard. He's doing good in the field. I mean, love what I see from some Tommy Pham.
Probably has the most value of all the players that could get dealt for futures of the deadline.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
I don't think anybody did.
Tommy Pham.
Freaking ridiculous.
You know he's got the highest batting average on the Mets?
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
277.
Who had that on the bingo card?
Yeah, if you asked me who would lead in batting average, Tommy Pham would have probably been at best like
right at the bottom,
6th on the list at best, because I would have put Nimmo above him, Marte, Canna, Lindor, Alonso, obviously McNeil. So yeah, it's sad. But for the last player, Daniel Vogelback.
Danny Burgers, I went to the D.
Yeah, same with me.
D+.
At least he's been swinging the bat more recently. That's about it. For a guy that doesn't run, that doesn't field, doesn't do anything but swing the bat and is paid to do that, wasn't swinging the bat enough in the first half, and he still is not swinging the bat enough, and he's still not hitting well enough for being strictly a DH. Especially because it's almost like I was right saying they should have got JD Martinez. But
the All-Star.
No, why would we want All-Stars on this team? No,
we don't do that here.
No.
Must be out of your damn mind.
The only time we want All-Stars is if they were an All-Star like 10 years before they signed with the Mets. Like, that's really about it. Otherwise, yeah, no All-Stars. Unallowed.
Yeah. Seriously.
But that's it for the player grades, and I'm sure that you guys will rip us apart in the comment section, especially for the Lindor gradings, because I know that the Lindor fans are not going to like what we gave him. But we'll move on to talk about Shohei Ohtani, which briefly got mentioned during these player grades. Do we think there's any shot he's coming to the Mets?
No.
And why is the answer no?
I highly,
Because
highly doubt
we
it.
know the answer is no, but like, why is the answer no?
He doesn't want to be
Doesn't
here.
want to
He might
play
get
for the shitty Mets. Doesn't want to come to
Right.
the East Coast.
he might get traded here, but he ain't staying.
If the
I
Mets
bet you
trade
they
for him,
try and trade so hard for him.
no,
They're going to, man.
don't
They're
speak
going
it
to.
into existence. No, I'm
Well, it
so
exists.
tired. I don't understand why. You got me riled up, man. I don't understand why there's fans that want to trade for him. What's the incentive for trading it for him? You gave up no prospects last year for a team that won 101 games. You got Darren Ruff, an older version of JD Davis, and Daniel Vogelback, and how dare me forget Michael Givens too, and Tyler Naquin. But you gave up no prospects last year for a team that was performing significantly better, but you potentially will go all in at the deadline this year for Shohei Ohtani and give the farm up. No, build your damn prospect pool up like the mission statement was when Steve Cohen got here, outside of his ridiculousness of saying that they would win within the first 3 to 5 years of him being an owner. We're already in year 3. It's not going to freaking happen, and this team needs to rebuild, but that's a whole different conversation. Why? I just don't understand, because we could get in early and he'll get to see what New York's about for 3 months, and
That's like the opposite of what you want. Why would you want him to see what the problems are?
Exactly. Why do you want him to come here to a team and experience losing with the Mets? I just don't understand, and I don't understand. I don't think Steve Cohen's even going to give him the highest offer anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. After that press conference, I'm not so sure about Steve Cohen giving a bunch of money out anymore. Maybe he will for Ohtani. Maybe it's an exception because of the fact that he's the biggest name in the sport, best player in the sport, because of the fact that it's jersey sales and good marketing for the Mets. Maybe that's an exception, but Juan Soto, you could say goodbye to that dream. He's not spending money on Juan Soto. Steve Cohen's going to dial back on spending, and he basically admitted that in his press conference. And I don't think it's going to be any different with Shohei Ohtani. I don't think Shohei Ohtani is going to be a Met. I don't think Steve Cohen's giving him the highest offer anymore.
Wow.
I agree.
I think the Mets will be the highest offer, but I don't see him coming here. He said he wants to win. I mean, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of that if you come to the New York Mets.
Well, he didn't say it. Mike Trout did, but close enough. And Mike Trout's probably freaking sick of this too.
I think the only chance the Mets have at luring in Ohtani is if in the offseason they make significant moves that show like, hey, we're still posturing to win now, but what's even out there to acquire? I feel like we went over this last time we streamed. There's no one even available right now.
No.
There's no name.
They're gonna sign freaking Matt Chapman after a career year, and then Brett Beatty's just gonna be stuck playing left field, and then he'll be traded in 2 years as a failed left fielder / DH like Dominic Smith. Yeah, real smart idea. That's the Mets for you. Good job. And then he'll go elsewhere and start to thrive, because that's just how this works with the Mets.
Imagine the Mets sign Ohtani and trade for Trout. That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, and then miss the playoffs too, just like the Angels.
Pretty much.
We'll be the
and
Angels
Billy
too,
Epler being the freaking GM still. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Get Danny Espinosa out of retirement real quick. Yeah. Well, let's do
really
that.
Cool, though. Oh, I'd love that. But then again, this isn't fucking MLB The Show, and dreams are just dreams because this team fucking sucks. But like the rain. Oh my God, when she said the Rangers, that's how disappointed I am in this team. They just, I don't know, dude. Like they need. What's the best way to put this? I think they need a different voice in the room from a coaching perspective. But
Yes.
I think Buck's not it, and I think they need a new leadership group. I think
Thank
the
you.
problem is I don't think it's a boys club, but I think the guys who are in the room now and have been in the room, I don't think the message is strong enough, and I don't think not that I don't think it's a winning message. I just don't think the message is creating a winning culture. I don't know. They focus so much on building a winning culture, and the more they talked about it, the worse the team got. So I don't. Maybe there's too many cooks in the kitchen. I don't know. It's just whatever they're doing, they need to do the opposite because this is just not working. This is doing the absolute opposite of working. And I think they need guys that not have won before, not guys that know how to win per se. I think you need guys that are hungry to win.
Yes. They are just like the Rangers in a couple of aspects. In the fact that they need a disciplinarian in the locker room because I'm tired of hearing in press conferences. I'm tired of hearing about how the manager's proud. I'm tired of hearing, oh, they went out there and battled. I'm tired of hearing all the garbage from these managers that we've had over the past few years. I'm tired of it. They need a disciplinarian, and you could go back to my main channel if you want and go ahead and watch what I said about Buck Showalter and how I was not a fan of him being the manager back when I had freaking uncontrollable acne. Have fun watching that. But blur my face out, whatever, and go listen to what I said about how I was not thrilled about Buck Showalter, and I was in the minority there, and I hate to be that guy, but I just knew that it was not a recipe for success. What has the guy done? And isn't it a sign that after he leaves a place, the team usually wins the World Series or goes to the World Series? The one exception was the Baltimore Orioles.
Which is not really a big miss because I don't think they'll ever go to a World Series ever again. But no, you're right.
They might.
You are right.
But they desperately need a disciplinarian in there. And I couldn't agree more about them needing guys that are hungry to win because you have guys like Verlander who have won already. You have Scherzer who's won already. Those are two guys that are getting paid the most. You have too many guys in there that just don't care. They got their bag. They have their rings already. And they just don't care.
Yeah.
They don't. They're not playing for anything.
There's no incentive at all for Scherzer and Verlander, as you said. They got all their money. They have their World Series rings. Like, this is just a retirement home for them. They could
100%.
care less, you know?
You see someone that's competitive, dude. Like, look at Bryce. You think Bryce Harper, if he was on this team, like, he wouldn't be throwing his helmet, fucking freaking out how bad the team's playing. Like, I know it's Bryce Harper. Like, that's probably the most pristine example you could think of. But you need a guy that just is that competitive, that wants to win every single game. Like, McNeil shows flashes of being that competitive, but I think he takes himself out of games sometimes when he wigs out. Whereas Harper, when he gets mad, he gets better.
Yeah, and this is why it infuriates me that the deal fell through initially for Cohen, because Cohen was supposed to own the team that offseason when Machado and Harper were free agents. We could be living in a world where one of, if not both, are New York Mets right now, but instead, this is the hand we're dealt with, where the best free agents available were 40-year-old pitchers and trading for Francisco Lindor. This is the world that we live in, and it is what it is, I guess, but it's an infuriating one because had Cohen just owned the team even just a year earlier, this could be a whole lot different and a whole lot better, but this is just what it is. And the prospect pool, it's just not good enough, and I'm tired of hearing about depleting it even more for Shohei Ohtani. The best pitcher in the prospect pool is Mike Vasile. No, he's not good enough. He's not a future ace. Sorry, he's not. They need to bolster the farm system, and I keep saying that they need the rebuild, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because they won't admit they're wrong, and they're still going to hold out hope for Ohtani, and that's the only reason Billy Epler is here. And that's another reason why I feel like Cohen's not going to give Ohtani the biggest offer. He's going to trust his guy, Billy Epler, to pry him over here because he did it in Anaheim with the Angels.
God. Yeah, well, there wasn't the entire league trying to sign the guy. At least I don't think.
It's such a joke, but we'll leave it off with this question. I think that you guys are gonna don't give me does a bear shit in the woods answer here, because I know do humans need air to breathe? Yes, but is the season done?
I think it's Jover.
Yeah.
It's definitely. We thought we were Barack maybe at one point, but
it's Alonzo over.
It's a Robert Sover.
It's
How many games are left in the season at this point?
Not enough.
72. The Mets would need to go like 15, 20.
Not even Harry Potter could save this team. It's done. It's done.
Yeah.
It's over.
I
don't want to hear shit about making the playoffs. They had to sweep the Padres. and they couldn't even win the series. It's over.
Yeah,
Traps.
at least if you gave me one of those games, okay, we could look a little more optimistic, but that didn't happen. So this team is dead. We're not making the playoffs, and I can't wait for Shohei Ohtani to not come here when everyone thinks he will.
It's also funny to me that again, I hate that I'm right, and I hate to be that guy, but when you looked at the schedule and you saw what the month of June was with the teams that they face, you just knew it was trouble.
Yeah.
You just knew when you saw the Astros, when you saw the Yankees, when you saw all these teams, you just knew the Mets were in trouble in June.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Marlins are better. I'm freaking sick.
Everyone's better, dude.
The Marlins.
Team just
Oh
sucks.
my god.
And what
They
pisses
really
me off
tricked
the
us
most,
too with those first 20.
they really did. And what pisses me off is that we just know how this goes. They can't fool us. We're familiar with their game way too much. They're gonna close in a bit on the playoffs towards the end, make it interesting, fall short a bit, and not have a good enough draft pick either.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We're too familiar with their game here.
I agree.
They'll have their infamous late July, early August freaking Linsanity run.
Mhm.
We know that'll happen. Then the collapse in September. Again.
I hope they just sell at the deadline. They better.
They need to. They'd be stupid not to.
I'm gonna be so infuriated if they go on a bit of a win streak and it causes them to not sell at the deadline. If Max Scherzer's trying to get traded out of here, you might want to pitch better. By the way, buddy, forgot to mention that. But the selling, we need that more than anything. We definitely need that more than anything.
Oh my god, got hit with the Mbappe meme. I love that.
You had to.
We need the rebuild more than anything, but it's not going to happen. This team's fucked.
It's one way of putting it.
Long story short,
Simple.
this team's fucked. If you thought we thought the Rangers were, even with the salary cap, they found a way to pull us back in and give us some belief.
Right.
This team's fucked.
Yeah,
there's no two ways around it.
line.
There's no free agent or anything that you could even look at. There's nothing. There's nothing to save this team. Unless there's some unknown player that the Mets find the next Juan Soto off of the streets or something, it's not happening. It's just not. There's no coming back until maybe like 2030. It's Jover till then.
It's absolutely Jover.
But maybe even longer than 2030 because they're not going to admit that they need to rebuild.
No, they
we
never
know
will.
this. No, they'll admit. I'm hoping that if Ohtani doesn't come here, they'll admit that they need to rebuild, but I doubt it. And that's where I'm scared they're not even going to sell off some guys at the deadline. Like, even if Scherzer and Verlander build their value back up a bit, I'm worried they're not going to sell them off at the deadline. But
I'd almost be okay with holding on to Scherzer this year because you know for a fact he's not opting out of his contract. That next year, because it's an expiring contract, you could probably get more for him.
That's true.
Possibly.
Yeah. That's very fair. And then Verlander, too, is an expiring deal next year.
Yeah, I think it'd be smarter to hold on to him because I think even if they do suck as much next year as they did this year, their names alone will give them value. And if other teams see there's a chance they're going to re-up at a $43 million price tag, there's no way in fucking hell they're accepting that. Or you're going to lose a ton of value or to take a bad contract back.
The New York Mets.
That's a good point by you there, Nick.
The New York Mets.
Had to come up with at least a good point today. This fucking shit team.
Yeah. I don't even know how many more episodes we got in us to do for the rest of the season because what is there to talk about unless they actually listen and sell off at the dedeadline? But
I was gonna say the trade deadline.
We know that ain't gonna happen.
We can just keep dunking on them. I mean, it is kind of fun a little bit dunking on them.
Yeah, I guess it is.
You know, get a little anger out. It's almost like going to like a break, not a break room. What's it called? A smash room where you just fucking break everything. What is that called? I don't know. What's it called?
Smashing room.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it. Yeah, like a rage room or whatever.
Yeah,
it is,
rage
but-
room. That's it. Yeah, go to like a rage
Yeah.
room and just sit down and shoot the shit for an hour and just absolutely crap on the team.
Yeah. Yeah, we're freaking dunking on them like crazy, but we'll wrap it up here. And I don't think, unless you guys have anything else to say, did we dunk on Winnipeg enough? Did we dunk on the Mets enough?
Winnipeg surprisingly didn't come out today.
It
No,
did
they-
a bit.
I mean, like a
It did,
touch,
yeah,
a
a
thimble.
slight bit.
Just give him a
Oh,
taste.
man.
The VR comment was off the air with Winnipeg, so that was really where
Yeah,
I went into Winnipeg. But
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up here, and we'll dunk on Winnipeg more in the next episode because we're not gonna have anything to talk about with this freaking baseball team
No.
anymore.
No, nothing at all.
Hope.
The one thing I'll say, they're saving me the aggravation of going to the stadium. I'll watch the games, but there's not a shot in hell that I'm freaking commuting to that stadium.
No.
But that's
No
going to be it for me, for all of us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new, and we will see you guys in the next one.